All right, best of luck.
Hi guys, this is Saina. I'm a faculty from Loma Linda University, and I'll be moderating Shark Tank competition this year with one of my colleagues, Dr. Awan, who is a faculty at Baylor College of Medicine. First of all, I wanted to thank you, NBLU team, for this opportunity. Shark Tank competition, it's so exciting, and it's such a great learning opportunity for you guys. So we're so happy to be part of this. We've gathered some tips and some information regarding the Shark Tank competition and to help you to come up with an awesome presentation for this competition. So with that introduction, let's just start our presentation. I'm going to start with a scenario. Well, you guys all are coming out from nephrology fellowship this year. Congratulations. You realize you're interested in private practice and you want to start your own practice with your awesome colleagues. Unfortunately, you realize that you have no capital on hand to start this private practice that you wanted to start. Sounds like you're already thinking. But all of a sudden, you hear about an awesome opportunity. There's a Shark Tank competition at NBLU that there are investors that are interested in your specific talents, and they want to choose one team, only one team, to support financially. You know that you've got to get this money to start your own practice. Since you are a nephrology fellow and you're super smart, you all of a sudden you quickly realize that you have to think about what to do to win this Shark Tank competition. Well, we thought about that as well, and we came up with 5 tips for you guys. First of all, just know the rules of the competition. Not like any other competition, you should know the rules and follow the rules in order to win the competition. Know the judges before the day of your presentation. It helps you a lot, and there will be no surprises on the day of presentation, and you know somehow their expectations and their personality as well. It's always helpful to talk to previous winners as well, because they might be able to share some ideas and secrets about how they won the competition in previous years and how to come up with awesome ideas and how to impress judges. And listen to our presentation. We worked really hard on this presentation to come up with really helpful tips for you guys. And your presentation skills, and your presentation skills matter as well. Try to present with passion and come for the win. Come with the passion that you know about your private practice. You really need this money, and you are here to persuade our judges to financially help you with this idea. So as we said, it's always good to know your judges before going to any competitions. So here we asked a couple of our judges to send you a video and share some tips about the presentations. We are going to start with Dr. Mekadia and Dr. Klemi. Both of them are going to focus on marketing and practice management focus. Let me see what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Parin Mekadia, and I'm a physician partner at Dallas Journal Group, as well as part of the NBLU Oversight Committee. I will be one of your Shark Tank judges, and my focus will be marketing. So what I'm looking for from you guys is to come up with some creative ideas on marketing. Marketing your practice, marketing yourself, and creating a brand in whatever area you are or you will be practicing in. So best of luck, and see you next week.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Salvatore Chilemi. My patients call me Dr. Chill. I am from the Atlanta suburbs or northern suburbs of Atlanta, Marietta, Canton, Roswell, Woodstock, to be more specific. And I'm going to be one of the judges this year on Shark Tank. This is year 3 for me. I've absolutely loved being a part of it. I've loved seeing future nephrology attendings, current fellows in action, seeing what their mind is thinking and going from there. My practice is actively looking as well. So if you guys are looking to move into the Atlanta area, we have a wonderful practice, so feel free to contact me. Let's see, I'm asked to tell you something fun about myself. Obviously, I love family. I am a soccer fanatic, Forza Juventus. For those of you that follow Italian soccer, I'm a big Juventus fan, a Juventino. Love to travel. I am Sicilian. My wife is Brazilian. So my kids are confused. They're Portuguese, Italian, Americans, I guess, or Brazilian, Italian, Americans. So with that being said, Let's see, something else fun about me. I love food. If it's in front of me, it is gone. I am never hungry, but if there's food, it will be gone. What would I like to see this year? I want to hear more about marketing. You hear all fellows during interviews, I will work hard, I'll be diligent. We know that all nephrologists work hard. I am particularly interested in the marketing aspect of it. How will you come into a new hospital and market yourself to other physicians that have current relationships with nephrologists already in the area? So what's going to put you above and beyond some of their nephrology colleagues or individuals they use on consult? So that's what I'm interested in, how you're going to get involved in the hospital system, but more so locally, physicians and other specialists, how you're going to get consults from them. That's it. God bless. Hope everyone's well, and good luck.
So guys, as you can see, they shared their interest in marketing, and that's an important thing in your practice, how you're going to market yourself, because wherever you go, there's going to be another nephrology practice close to you. So it's important how you market yourself, and try to come up with ideas and try to mention those ideas in your presentation as well.
Hi.
We have Ms. Sharp and Mr. White that they're going to focus on economics of dialysis and public policy. And we have one more judge that she has something to share with you guys. It's Ms. Yukelovich, and she's going to focus on JV.
Hello, fellas. My name is Maya Yukelevich. I am a Vice President of Business Development with US Renal, and my responsibility within the company is to create a growth strategy through aligning with nephrologists, hospitals, and hospital systems. Because we strongly believe that the best outcomes can be achieved through the synergy between nephrologists and dialysis providers. Our main model of business is joint venture partnership. And by the way, I will be judging you on JV initiatives and your thoughts in the upcoming Shark Tank competition. So I would like to leave you with some advice. When you think of a dialysis provider that can potentially be your JV partner, think of the number one, the size of the provider. Number two, the expertise in joint venture itself. And number three, do you have trust? Do you like to spend time with your partners from a dialysis clinic or dialysis company? Well, these three advices, and I cannot wait to see you. Bye-bye.
So that was an awesome advice as well. Keep in mind that JV is an important part of your presentation. My colleague, Dr. Awan, is going to talk more about JV, and you're going to learn more about JV during NBLU week as well. So we talked about rules of the competition. You only have 7 minutes to present, so make it short and sweet. Make sure that you're going to finish your presentation exactly at 7 minutes. So try to go over your presentation multiple times prior to the competition. Unfortunately, we have to cut the presentations exactly at 7 minutes. So if you go over the time, then your judges, they're not going to be able to hear the last part of your presentation. Only one of your team members is going to present, but you're going to be able to help during the Q&A session. We're going to have 8 minutes for judges to go through questions, and during that time, if you want to help the presenter with answering questions, you can always volunteer. As we said, talking to previous winners is a very great way to come up with ideas and see what was the secret that their team won in the previous years. So we asked 2 of the fellows from last year to share some ideas and see if they have any secrets to share. We're going to start with Dr. Balanos, and then we have Dr. Watford to share some ideas with you guys.
Hello, my name is Christian Balanos. I'm a transplant nephrology fellow at Stanford. Last year, we participated in the Shark Tank competition at NBLU. It was really fun. We learned a lot about how to run a practice. Our group had a practice in Naples, Florida, and we had to come up with a name and a logo for our practice. I think the most important thing to win the competition is to try to come up with a creative name for your practice, and also work hard on your logo. I think that's why we won last year. Our logo was really nice. Also, when you present and try to sell your practice, try to do it very enthusiastically and believe in your practice. And yeah, hopefully you'll have fun and you'll definitely learn a lot. Good luck.
Hi, NBLU Shark Tank competitors. My name is Daniel Watford. I'm one of the former NBLU participants and one of the participants from the winning team in the Shark Tank competition last year. Been tasked with giving you one tip for a great Shark Tank competition. So what I'd say is definitely take the time to make a great emblem and a great slogan. This is going to be your first impression, and the first thing that the judges see can go a long way into marketing your practice. So really take the time, try to come up with something very witty, and make a great design, and don't be afraid to go the extra mile to present something very nice. I think that'll get you off to a great start. So with that, good luck with the Shark Tank competition, and have an excellent time at NBLU 2020.
Great tips, right? Start with a great logo because it's going to be the beginning of your presentation. So be innovative. You hear this thing all the time, but what does that mean? You can make a video using TikTok, Instagram, or any other applications to include in your presentation. Come up with a clear plan in your future practice that we know that you have clear plans and you're ready. If we give you this money, you can use this money to make a successful private practice in future. Be bold and present with passion. Act like your future depends on this money. You really need this and you're here to win the competition. So this is your presentation outline. You're going to start with practice name, logo, and mission statement. Then you're going to choose your leadership philosophy. Then you have to go over your market overview, strategies, JV, and then you have to touch public policy as well and your practice management. I'm going to talk about practice name, logo, mission statement, and leadership philosophy. And my colleague, Dr. Awan, is going to talk more about market overview, strategies, and JV. This is the SWOT analysis. It basically means that you should know strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats about your practice. Once you're aware of everything, then we know that you have a clear plan on your mind. You should know about weaknesses and risks about your practice as well. Thinking that everything is gonna go fine and there is no risks around you, it's too optimistic and make us not to believe you and feel like we're not gonna be able to trust you. Actually having a plan to manage risk and having shows like and to show how your practice has the maturity to deal with risks is really important. As you can see, the structure starts with being naive, going towards enabled, meaning that naive doesn't know anything about the risks around the area. Enabled meaning that you know about the risks and you already have some policies in place to tackle the risks and problems that you're going to focus during your when you're starting your practice or while you're running your practice. So there are going to be some risks and threats to your practice as well. This is the scoreboard for the judges. As you can see, you're going to get 25 points and all the judges are going to give you this point. So it's really important to come up with a fun name, like a really good logo, and your mission statement and leadership philosophy is super important as well. And then you can see that we have 5 judges that they're going to give you 15 points on the topic of their expertise. For example, Dr. Mekadia is going to go over market overview. Maya is going to go, Ms. Yukelovich is going to go over JV, Mr. White, public policy, etc. So I'm going to talk about the leadership philosophy because it's going to affect your practice a lot. And it shows like the environment of your practice and the type of people that they're going to join your practice in future. As you can see, there are different strategies of leadership. One of them is, for example, you choose the leader to dictate the rules, or you can choose that all the people have a say to shape up the rules of your practice. Sometimes you can say that I want the leadership philosophy of the hands-off leader, and we can have a committee to come up with the rules, and whenever we need extra help, we can reach out to the leaders. The other point is that you can say that I want to go with the innovative leadership philosophy, which combines different methods. That's fine. If you want to go with the innovative leadership philosophy, that's exciting, but tell us more about it. What kind of philosophies and strategies you want to combine? And why do you need the innovative leadership philosophy? Whatever you choose, show us an explanation and show us why you believe in that strategy. I mean, you don't have to choose, for example, if you choose that the leader dictates the rule. To give you an example, you can say, for example, because I think that everything is going to be chaotic if we change the rules all the time, or if everyone has something to say, so we're going to trust our leaders. Or if you want to have everyone to have a say about rules, you can say, because we want to have this environment of feeling of belonging, and that you can change the rules and you have a say and your practice listens to you. Come up with some kind of explanation and show us what kind of personality, environment, and what kind of practice you are building up. I think I'm done with my part of presentation. I'm gonna hand off to my colleague, Dr. Awan. He's gonna talk more about JV and market strategies and also touch of public policy. Thank you so much for listening to me.
All right, thank you, Saina. And I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Hopefully you can see it this time. This is 2nd of August, 9:30 p.m. that we are recording this video, I think for a third time. We had some technical errors first couple of times, but hopefully we'll try to finish it within the next 12 to 14 minutes so the fellows are not bored. Can you see the screen, Saina?
Yes, I can.
All right, guys. So my name is Ahmed Awan. As Saina said, we were together at Baylor College of Medicine during fellowship, and now she has moved on to Loma Linda. I'm still faculty at Baylor College of Medicine. I attended NBLU in 2018, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I made lifelong friends over there, and I really want to thank Samir and Luis, Perrine, and rest of the NBLU team for giving us the opportunity to talk to so many fellows at one time. Yeah, it's really a privilege to talk to the bright and young and ambitious minds. So I'm going to talk about market penetration strategy as well as public policy. I don't have a lot of rules to tell you. Saina has already gone over most of the stuff you need to know. I want to give you some tips in between the market penetration strategy and the public policy. Okay, so I would like to start with an icebreaker, and here is the icebreaker. Moving on. So before I talk about the market penetration strategy, I would, as I said, I would intersperse some tips in between that would help you function as a successful nephrologist in the business of nephrology. And the first tip that I want to share with you, and it was a revelation for me when I read this book by Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. He was the top FBI hostage negotiator. And what he says is, don't take yes as a positive and don't take no as a negative. People might say yes to you during negotiations just to get you off their back. So someone saying yes in a hurry doesn't mean they agree with you. Similarly with no, no does not mean rejection. No could mean either one of these things. So no is not the end of discussion. No is the start of discussion. If someone is saying no to you, that means they want to know more about yourself, your plan, your practice, your ideas. They want you to convince them of whatever they want to know. So this is a great tip to know. Beware of yes and embrace no. Mark Cuban, who is the owner of Dallas Mavericks, I believe, and one of the Sharks, very successful business person, he said, every no gets me closer to a yes. And he basically used to say this after he was dumped by his girlfriends. But this idea holds. Every no gets you closer to a yes in any business strategy. So don't be scared of no. That was tip number one. So what I want to show you is market analysis resources. So coming to the Shark Tank, there are some market analysis resources that you can use when you are trying to strategize about your practice, its location, about the management of the practice. So the first and most important resource is the USRDS, the United States Renal Data System. Now there is a 2-year delay in the data uploaded into the system, but it has information on all the ESRD patients in the United States. Now, since 2003, there's also a lot of information about CKD patients. The oversight is by University of Michigan. You can log on to this website and get all this information for free. If you want to hone in on the regions, the different regions where you are practicing, there are 18 networks under the CMS umbrella. And you can see the links for those networks on this slide. So these are some of the useful resources that can give you an idea of the number of ESRD patients in a particular area, number of CKD patients, and you can use these resources to decide how many nephrologists you need in a particular area and what is your competition going to be like. Now, another resource for market analysis is CMS cost reports. Now, this top resource talks about the nephrologists, their billing patterns, what are they billing patients for, inpatient, outpatient, the level of billing that they've been doing, and it can give you an idea of the number of patients they're taking care of and the competition in the market. Similarly, CMS cost reports can tell you about dialysis clinic profitability, the commercial mix, meaning what type of insurance the patients have, the revenue per treatment that is being paid by CMS, and the medical director compensation, which can range anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000, depending on the area and the size of the dialysis units. And also the hospital discharge reports can give you a lot of information about the CKD and ESRD structure of the market. Now, the local hospitals, especially their business development and physician recruitment departments, can give you an idea about the insurance mix in the area and the number of CKD and ESRD patients that are basically considered the clients for the nephrologist. Dialysis organizations, all the big dialysis organizations, the large dialysis organizations have information on the CKD growth of any area, the demand for the nephrologists in the area, the demand for dialysis units in the area. So you can partner with dialysis organizations and get that information. And if you're interested in populating the medically underserved areas, serving there, you don't want to deal with a lot of competition, you can look into this website that tells you about health professional shortage areas and plan your practice accordingly. So these are some of the resources that you can use to analyze the market, and I will tell you how you need to incorporate them in your presentation. But moving on to my tip number 2. So as I said, no does not mean end of negotiation. The second tip I have for you is don't take no for an answer. And all these movies have this in common. These are movies of prison breaks. These were the people who were incarcerated for most of their lives, but they decided not to take no for an answer. I saw Pepijaan just recently. It's a true story based in France, 1921. The guy tried to escape prison at least 3 times. The first time he was given solitary for 2 years, second time 5 years, and finally he was sent over to a deserted island. He decided to jump in the ocean and he still escaped, wrote a book, and finally made into a movie. Don't take no for an answer, because Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Peace Prize for Economics, said that humans don't know today what they may like tomorrow. So if someone is saying no to you today, it does not mean they will say no to you forever. So don't take no for an answer. Whenever you are trying to negotiate something, trying to penetrate a market, trying to convince someone to send you referrals, don't take no for an answer. Keep trying. All right. So the market overview in Shark Tank, what you have to tell the judges and what judges want to hear is that how many CKD patients are in that area? What is the growth potential for CKD patients? Usually every 10 CKD patients would probably translate to 1 dialysis patients per year. So the ESRD patients, the growth potential for ESRD patients, and the number of hospital discharges, and what percentage of those discharges would need a nephrologist once they get out of the hospital. So you have to get this information in your presentation to get scored for the market overview. Also, how would you penetrate the market? How are you going to attract the patient? So what is your strategy to advertise your practice in a way that sets your practice apart from other practices? Where would you open your offices and why? Which hospitals you would round at? Which dialysis units you would round at? If you have a bunch of nephrologists, how are you going to structure your call schedule so people, you can still penetrate the market, but kind of have a good lifestyle for your partners and they're not burnt out? And what is your compensation strategy? Because you want to retain the nephrologists that you hire. So you need to come up with a plan that would keep everyone happy. So just think about these things when you're making a market penetration strategy. Moving on to the tip number 3. So you are trying to penetrate a market. What do you need to do to penetrate the market as a nephrologist? Not pertaining to Shark Tank, but just life in general. Make life easy for others. When you are seeing a patient, try to make things easy for them. If you can advise something on the phone, don't bring them to clinic. If you can treat something in clinic, don't admit them to the hospital. If you're admitting them to the hospital, direct admit them instead of getting them to wait in the ER for like 4 or 5 or 6 hours. Make life easy for your patients. Also, try to make life easy for your hospitalists or your referring physicians. If you can do something to save them a trip to the hospital, to expedite discharge from the hospital, go ahead and do it. One of my friends, Etisham, so reminds me of a story. He was a third-year resident. Don't be like Etisham. What he did was, there was a patient in the ER who needed fecal disimpaction. He called the GI fellow on call. He said, oh, this fellow, this person needs a fecal disimpaction. Can you come in and do it? And the fellow said, why don't you do it yourself? You were a third-year resident. And he said, oh, I'm not certified to do it. So he was trying to get out of doing a fecal disimpaction, which of course is unpleasant, but don't be like Etisham. Do whatever you can to make life of other folks easier. Now, SWOT analysis of the market, Saina has already talked about it. Look at the strengths and weaknesses of your practice. So the strengths and weaknesses are internal strengths and weaknesses, and the opportunities and threats are external. So if someone is moving their practice away from you, that's an opportunity. If there are new laws or regulations that are going to make it difficult for your practice, that's a threat. So you have to account for opportunities and threats. And Saina definitely gave you a great overview of the SWOT analysis. So when you are presenting the ideas for your practice, make sure you also present SWOT analysis of the market. You're going to be scored for that. And also going to be scored for geographic comparison. So if your practice was in a different geographic location, how would your market penetration strategy change? If your practice is in New York versus Mississippi, your practice strategy might need to be different. Similarly, in different areas in every state, your practice strategy might need to be different. So make sure you present that in your 7 minutes. Number 4 tip number 4. Don't take your competitors as your enemies. All your competitors are potential allies. Be extra nice to them. Don't hesitate to offer help. Compliment them. You can ask them questions. If you don't know something, ask them questions. Makes them feel good about yourself. It's quite possible they may send you a dialysis patient to an area where they don't go to. They may ask you for call coverage. They may actually end up joining your practice. So if you're extra nice to people, you might gain friends. So everyone is out there to make some money, of course. No one is out to get you. Your competitors are not your enemies. Treat them nicely. Be nice to them, and it will pay off for you in the future. So love thy neighbor. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is public policy. And there will be 2 public policy questions this year that you need to answer in your Shark Tank presentation. The first public policy question, of course, with COVID-19 pandemic, we all know that the normal practice model has been disrupted. So patients are scared to come to the hospitals. They're scared to come to the clinics. Telehealth coverage is being expanded. CMS is now paying for it. Some HIPAA rules have been modified. So how would you incorporate telehealth in your practice to increase the number of patients visiting your practice and maybe to extend your patient catchment area, because driving and parking is not an issue anymore. So you have to come up with a plan to incorporate telehealth in your practice. Be sure to mention that our public policy judge, Mr. David White, will be looking for that answer. Moving on to tip number 5, don't complain. So if someone asks you when you're rounding in the morning, hey, how are you feeling? Don't start telling them, oh, I had a fight with my wife. I had to sleep on the floor. I'm so tired this morning. My kids are not talking to. I think I'm going on my personal rant here, but basically, don't complain. No one likes a complainer. Avoid looking exhausted. Never tell people, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time. That might dissuade people from giving you consults. Oh, this guy's already so tired, he's already so busy. We don't want to do them a disfavor by giving him more patience. So don't advertise how busy or tired or exhausted you are. Be happy, look happy. You will get more consults that way. Now, the next public policy question needs a little background. And as we all know, this is an abstract by Dr. Tejas Desai, American Kidney Health Initiative, Advancing American Kidney Health Initiative, basically tries to promote transplants, home dialysis, and prevention strategies. And it financially incentivizes the nephrologists to promote living donor transplants to prevent CKD patients from progressing to ESRD, and the goal is to maximize the number of patients on home dialysis. So what you need to answer as a public policy question number 2 is, which type of models would you account for in your practice in order to maximize financial gains? So the KCF, Kidney Care, and CKCC models are different payment plans. And I have posted a link here. This is an article that really beautifully summarizes how people are going to get paid based on these models. This article was published in ASN Kidney News by Mr. David White. And this will give you a summary of what type of risk to profit sharing models CKCC promotes. So look at these models and see which model would you choose for your practice. Now, this was about it for the Shark Tank presentation. I have a couple more tips before I finish. Saina, you awake? All right, if you are awake, probably the fellows will be awake too, huh? All right then.
Actually, you're sharing great tips here. These are actual practice life, like this is really important not to look exhausted. Actually, like if someone is already complaining, no one is going to give them referrals.
So don't look like me. I look much better in mask and face shield. People are saying you are handsome when I put on a mask and face shield, So don't look like me. Look, look fresh. So the last couple of tips I want to share with you, I think we are still in time. We have a couple more minutes, so I'll share these tips before I finish. So once you get the referral, of course you have a referral base, you have some physician friends, they're going to send you the patients. But once you get the patients, how are you going to retain them? Patients are not going to stay with you because you're friends with their primary care physician. So one way to retain the patients is the one shown in the picture. You can beg them to stay with you. But more important than that, unless you treat the patients right, they're not going to stay with you. This is a Latin phrase that was promoted in 1651, sentia potentia est. Sounds more like Persian, it's Latin. It actually means knowledge is power. So you have to keep learning. Everything you learn in your training as a nephrologist and you keep learning throughout your life will help save someone's life. Or it might mean a difference between a miserable life and a happy and healthy life. So never stop learning. Make a couple of journals, make a habit to read a couple of journals every month. Keep a couple of books that you refer to. Keep yourself updated. Unless you keep yourself abreast of the current knowledge, you can never retain the patient. So unless the patient gets better, he's not going to be happy with you, or she's not going to be happy with you. She's not going to stick with you. She would move on to someone else who can take better care of them. So knowledge is power. Keep that in mind. And the last tip, actually the second last tip, is laughter is the best medicine. So if you have any jokes, don't hesitate to tell them to the patient. If you can make them laugh, make them laugh. If you can make them smile, make them smile. Say something that would put them at ease. There are a lot of funny people out there, but in front of the patients, they're very, very serious. They don't want to say anything inappropriate. And I understand that. You don't want to say something inappropriate. You don't want to be insensitive to the patients. You don't want to affect their cultural sensitivities. But if you have something to tell them that will make them laugh or smile, it makes you look human. When you are cracking a joke or even trying to make them smile, it makes you look human. You become more relatable. If you can make them laugh, they will stick to you. Trust me, people who laugh with you become your friends. So if you don't know any jokes, come up with some jokes. Read some books, watch some sitcoms, watch some stand-up comedies, some life stories that made you smile. Share them with the patient. Don't hesitate to share them with the patient. Anything that will make them smile or laugh will increase their trust in you, definitely would increase patient retention, would definitely help your practice. And the last thing I want to say is don't wait to be happy. I know when you are in a training, residency, fellowship, you want to be a consultant before you are happy, or you want to be a professor before you are happy, or you want your 401k or Roth IRA account to be full before you are happy. But all humans need is three things to be happy: something to do, someone to be with, and something to look forward to. There are three pleasures in life: food, sleep, and. So any chance you get to be happy, be happy. If you find 15 minutes between your hectic schedule to go out, have a cup of coffee with your friends, take it. After work, you have a chance to spend time with friends, take it. Make it a point to be happy every day. Find people who make you happy. Stay away from people who make you upset. Do try this at home. You don't have to wait for big honors and awards or big prizes to be happy. Find small things that make you happy. That's all I have to share for now. The last picture I want to share with you guys was the last shot of Michael Jordan. He took in 1998. The basketball fans know this. And the reason I want to share it is, so this was the 6th NBA championship that he won. There were 5 seconds left and they were trailing by 1 point. Michael Jordan took this shot and won the game 87-86. And Michael Jordan said, "Why fear missing a shot when you haven't taken it yet?" So be brave, be bold, go out and get them. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Saina, for letting me work with you and be patient with me. And it was fun talking to all of you. Best of luck with your Shark Tank competition.
Wow, thank you. That was a great presentation. It was really fun working with you as well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed our presentation, and I hope we were able to give you some really good tips for your presentations. So feel free to contact us. You can always find us on Twitter, and you can always find out our emails. Like, we can share that with you guys as well. You can always reach out to us with questions. Good luck with the competition, and we're going to see you on Shark Tank competition during NBLU. Good luck.
Best of luck.